nation do the impossible. What a God we have gathered at this hour in this place to put an end to the national corruption and corruption. We have in Nigeria to our people. Today, the Nigerian people are decent and hardworking people. They are people be forced to suffer until come. We, our people, we've had enough of it. Our people have had enough of having nothing. The current government trademark is to throw empty words, all action at our problem, as if doing nothing will cause our industrialization we have not. Refinery, nothing is working. Electricity, they lie. If this is the government of because before we say the government of slow motion, now it is the government of no motion at all. And be stagnated without poverty. They have their right to do so, and we have our right to kick them out. Education. They are still embezzling the retirement benefit of hardworking Nigeria. Let them be out. Out now.
Chaos is easy to bring normalcy.
General elections in 2023 have created conversations and consequences. From the executive to the judiciary, legislature, media, and the people, organized labor, and civil society organizations. Issues that continue to shape the future of our country needs continuous probing and interrogation.
I see the greater objective for the party, and let me tell you, I've told the PDP in some locations better men have founded party than have. Where's the party of Oᴘᴏᴡ? Where's the party of Azikwe? Where's PRP of Rimi? Political parties must be nurtured, they must be reinvented, they must be true to
Join
their own.
Politics every Wednesday, 1 to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM for thought-provoking conversations, voices from the top, engaging interviews, in-depth analysis on all matters around politics, policies, and governance. Midweek Politics on Mainland 98.3 FM, bringing the right perspectives to everything politics.
I strongly believe that wherever you are, you probably would have been wondering what is happening because it's 7 minutes past 1 p.m. But don't worry, the program Midweek Politics is right here and it is live on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. And it's going to be a solid 2 hours of political conversation around the political terrain of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and beyond. And you know, we don't get to do this only on Wednesday. Every conversation as regards political issues, governance, state of the nation, the economy, education, family, and all we have to say or discuss normally starts on Sunday. And that means that you get to be around 6 p.m. Listen to Mainland, because that is when Said Fuad, as well as Barrister Curtis and Nuruddin, will all be in the studio to have some solid conversation around the political terrain in our nation. And then it picks up from there with Monday, where we have trends in the papers and the Mainland focus. And of course, you know, that has to be taken care of by Sage Babalola and Omobola Sandra and Sarum. Everything that has to do with situations that concerns Nigerians, that concerns the state of the nation, that concerns everybody. Is normally discussed. And Okoyemi Akinyode is always there alongside Sage Babalola for Wednesdays. Today is Wednesday, and today is no exception because politics is right here on Midweek Politics. My name is Victor Achibong, and yes, of course, as you know, we don't get to do this just me talking. No, Okoyemi Akinyode is joining me in the studio. I don't know. I became in a bit. Well, okay. Good afternoon.
Well, it's good to be alive, and first off, compliment of the season to everyone
Absolutely.
that has stood by us all through the year, from January to this point, especially in areas where we've all agreed that the times are really tough, Victor, and people are about to put all of their time, all of their commitment, their resources to make sure that they don't just listen to Mainland FM, they also contribute, because we can do all of the talkings in the world. If there's nobody listening to you on the other side, you're just making noise. It's just talking to yourself. So, to the hundreds of thousands and millions of people that stood by us from the 1st of January till today, which certainly is the 11th day of December rather, 2024, we say thank you. I'm sure you must have been listening to some of our Christmas shout-outs and messages from your favorite voices. I like that of Muji Talks, by the way, especially as it relates to the kids. There's something for everyone on the show. And ladies and gentlemen, listeners at home, it is going to be from now till January. And there are also special editions of our Voices from the Streets. So you probably would just, catch Victor and
you are
his
letting
team.
the cat out of the bag.
No, it's something that the people should expect.
Sure.
You could just run into them and then they just take your Christmas greetings. It is a time for us to also say thank you for your consistency. Thank you for your commitment to making sure that you make Mainland 98.3 FM your number one super dial radio when it comes to the very best of radio experience. So but today is Wednesday, is Midweek Politics, and the White Lion is back on the menu. I love it when we have to dish anything about Yaya Bello, because it's always a blend of drama, twist turns, facts, details, anything you can imagine. You've got that on the menu today, Victor.
It's gonna be an interesting time, just like Okweya said, and you don't want to miss out in any of the conversation because I know you're also interested. Quite interesting. The whole story is looking like, for Nigerians, before we go into the deep conversation we have four different stories on the menu. So people, you got to be with us. But there is this one that is, I think you had a conversation on Tuesday or so with your guest concerning consumer protection. Now, this is what we're having here. The Nigerians grown as cash scarcity compounds hardship. Now, you cannot withdraw beyond 5,000 naira or 10,000 naira across banks in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, in Abuja, and the same thing is affecting Oyo State and so many other western states in the country. And this is coming at a time when Nigerians are supposed to be having things going easy with them. Of course, we understand that the reforms are really not helping matters right now, but when I want to withdraw my cash, it's not supposed to be my cash. Why put unnecessary restrictions that I cannot withdraw beyond 5,000? I overheard some persons complaining that some 2 weeks back or 3 weeks back, it was 20,000 naira, and now it has been reduced to 10,000. And just this week, but they cannot withdraw beyond 5,000 naira. I wonder where we are really going with all of these policies that they are putting together. And we also know that the governor of the central bank, Yemi Kaduso, keeps telling us that the policies they are bringing is capable enough to generate a lot of economic productivity and growth that we need in our country, which of course is going to help the situations as regards employment and make Nigeria, think of nothing bad anymore. In other words, the bad days are over. But with this one happening right now, I wonder how people are going to celebrate the Christmas. We're doing shout-outs here. Does it reflect in the lives of the celebrations of people this Christmas period?
Before I even go into that, I've been following a trend between the former governor of Rivers State, now the FCT minister, and yes, some week, and his successor, that's Governor Sim Fubara. So it's been about commissioning a project for both of them. It looks like it's a competition. Fubara had been, commissioning project yesterday. if I want to be evil, I will not, commission any project leading to Wike's village. And Wike in Abuja is also doing all of the things they could do, commissioning project buildings, and inviting the vice president, the president to come and do that. If this, how they are putting out, political conundrum between both of them will bring this level of progress and development and infrastructure development, I think both of them should keep fighting. If what they want to use to show that politically I'm bigger than you and better than you is project, please, both of you should continue to fight.
Politics is continuum.
Yes.
So
if
I am there, and I did some projects, I leave and you succeed me, and two of us are not in good terms, and you're also doing project, the people will enjoy.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even care whether this person does this person, as long as Wike is commissioning projects. If that is what they want to use to prove to the president that I'm more superior than the other, please continue to do roads, continue to commission psychiatric hospital, continue to commission primary health and secondary health care center. Now let's get back to what you talked about. Victor, the times are really tough, and we can't say enough of this. On Saturday, I went, not this Saturday, the previous Saturday, I went to the market, and the intention was not to buy food stuff or anything. I just felt like all through the week, just try to eat whatever it is you eat, and the weekend you're home, you should try and get something good in your system and all of that. And I went to the market, and I had to make a tweet about it, that this Christmas is going to be tough for Nigerians. And this is not me being a prophet of doom or being a pessimist. I'm just a realist that see things the way they are. You go to the market, you can barely buy anything. This is December, and as far back as mid-October, end of October, rice had gone on into 107,000 per bag. Half bag of rice is 54,000. So you ask yourself, how many people can afford it?
And that depends on where you're buying
Depending
from.
on the quality you're buying and where you're buying from.
True.
And, it just reminded me of what Mr. Bayo Nonuga, one of these presidential aides, said, that if you cannot afford yam, go and start buying sweet potato. And it's interesting to know that
if
now,
the sweet potato is cheap.
As it is now, beans is even more expensive than rice. So if you think, we eat beans, we will not eat rice, it's okay. Beans is even more expensive. So, and any country that is this richly blessed and with resources in terms of land mass, in terms of human capacity, in terms of money, this level of blessing that we have, and we're still suffering from food crisis, food shortages, then it is not just about prayer. It is not just about picking up your phone and criticizing the government and being a critic of the government. It's about sitting back, Victor, and asking fundamental questions. Well, I talked about that on Monday, and I put it out there that I would love to be corrected, but I think Nigerian consumers are the most abused in the world. And this is what I mean. You have service providers that you pay for their services and they don't give you value for that service. I have a transaction hanging since Sunday night. I've gone to the bank, they said there's no network. I went to the bank again yesterday afternoon, they told me there's no, they can't print ATM card. So there's a bank very close to the office here, Victor.
All right.
It's a big bank.
Yes.
There are about 6 ATM points, ATM machines around the bank. For like months, it was not dispensed, it wasn't working. Now they've removed the machines, they've sealed up the boxes. But come out of the bank as if you want to come in through this axis.
Oh, the POS
you will see more than
operators.
4 or 5 point of sales operators lined across the edge of the bank.
And they have cash.
If you want 10 million, Victor, those people would give you. But you can't get money at the ATMs attached with the bank.
And the current thing they do right now.
You cannot.
They've inflicted the price.
You cannot even afford to withdraw across counter more than 10,000 or 20,000. So now the worst is this, Victor. You go to parties, or you go to even hangout spots and lounges, and then you see people carrying mint in their hundreds and thousands and millions in bags.
Meanwhile, you couldn't withdraw from the bank.
It's not even dirty notes. It is new notes.
Mints.
So where we are right now is a bad thing. One of our callers in the situation room, Mr. Olakunle, they called on Monday, and he said the previous weekend it was in Ekiti. And what they do in Ekiti is that before you get 20, if you want a mint of 20,000, it is 60-40. So the owner gets 40, the person with the mint gets 60. I'm sure he's listening. I'm probably he's going to call to confirm it. He said if you give them 20,000, they'll give you 8,000 naira mint. So the person changing the money takes 12,000. And I don't blame them. I blame the people that are hungry about spraying mint. And that is why, if I want to give you money and you are celebrating maybe your wedding, if I make transfer to you, you can tell me no, you don't want. You want me to buy money and come and spray you money.
That's both ridiculous and outrageous.
So where do these people get these monies from?
How
So,
do you
Victor, we can wake up and spend the entire day blaming the government for all of the problems that we have, but the people selling monies at parties, they don't print these monies themselves. They don't work at the Nigerian printing and minting press. They don't work there. They don't work at CBN. Bankers give them these monies, so they have a sharing formula. If you do, for instance, for every 100,000 you want to collect, you give them 160,000. Then they give you 100,000. If you want to collect 20,000 bundle, you give them 32,000. Then they will give you 20,000 naira new notes. Where are they getting these monies from? It's even worse, Victor, that you would have data on your phone and you cannot browse. It's even crazier that you would have airtime on your phone and you would have emergencies and you will not be able to call. Victor, the most painful part is the fact that you have money in your account, you have your app running, you want to make a transaction to handle a serious situation, it is not going to deliver. The money will leave point A, 4 or 5 days, it will still not get to point B. As if you are taking the money, you are sending mail to take the money in cash to the destination. The worst of it, you want to travel by air, Victor, and then you get to the airport and the airline operators will just cancel your flight or move your flight to 5 hours, 6 hours. They don't care the consequences of what you must have missed for that delayed flight. They don't care about the consequences of what you must have lost by that rescheduled flight. And nobody, Victor, nobody is being held responsible or accountable. There will be times where for 2-3 days you will not have browsing data on your phone and you have gigs of data on your phone, but you cannot browse. Nobody's going to apologize for anything. Nobody's going to be held responsible. It's crazy. You go into government establishment and they will tell you for a fact that if you don't do this, if you don't inflate this contract, they're not going to process your file. Your file will not get to the table of the director of the agencies or the minister of the handling that particular portfolio. So we have a general problem, Victor, where people are choosing to legalize illegality and nobody is asking questions. This season we are is giving me the 2022 vibes, where we have to deal with Emefiele, former President Muhammadu Buhari, going into Christmas. Victor, I bought 8,000 naira with 14,000 that time. It was stuff. Victor, it was stuff. Do you know what it means to use money to buy money, your own currency? You're not buying pounds. You're not buying CFAs. You're not buying dollar, Victor. You're not buying yen. You're buying naira with naira. Go to all of the POS operators right now. The people at the filling stations don't take monies to the bank anymore. They sell their monies to POS operators. Bankers will not put money at the vault or put it at the counter anymore. They sell it to POS operators because most of those POS are owned by bankers. So the monies that you and I are supposed to receive at the counter is being taken out to give to their agent that will call them, that is making you sell money at parties. And the funny thing is that we have politicians, lawmakers that knows that it is a crime to sell naira in this country, attending those parties, and they will do nothing about it. Some of those lawmakers are now lawbreakers because they are the ones that their aides will go and buy those meats and they will spray it at parties. And these people know that selling of naira in Nigeria is a criminal offense.
Tough times, you will say, and the only question that people keep asking is who will bail the cats. Well, it's 22 minutes past 1, and this is how we choose to start midweek politics today. Nigerians, is the question that we all have to ask ourselves. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? And what are we ready for? To see that leadership is done the right way, to see that governance, we get the right kind of governance that we choose.
Followership, Victor.
Followership as well is part of what we need to talk about. And then talking about followership, I think that will just take us into our very first conversation for the day. And that will be the story of ex-Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello, of course, being remanded in Kuje prison. Okpeyemi, it appears there is a developing story to that particular story, because just yesterday we got to understand that as it stands, it's like Yahaya Bello will not be celebrating Christmas or even the New Year outside the four walls of, I don't know where, but it's going to be within the four walls of Kuje prison up until the 25th of February, where the case will be, revisited again. Now, let me just take a very quick read here. Just bear with me. It is said there that Justice Miriam Anani issued. Okay, let me do it this way, please, quickly. Okay, fantastic. Now she issued the remand order on Tuesday following the dismissal of Bello's bail application. The court adjourned its trial to February 25, 2025, leaving the embattled former governor in detention pending the outcome of the case. Now, Bello is facing a 16-count charge brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Now, the charges include alleged complicity in a 110 billion naira fraud during his tenure as governor. Now, also implicated in the case are two former officials of the Kogi state government, Oricha and Abdusalami Udu, who have been cited as co-defendants in the matter. The EFCC case against Bello has drawn widespread attention, with allegation of financial mismanagement and corruption sparkling debates about accountability and governance. Okoyemi, it's I think it's long overdue, if I may say, or use that expression. Long overdue in the sense that we all know how the whole drama started, looking for Yahaya Bello. Of course, we understand that at some point the state governor is successor, so one way or the other, kind of shielded him. And with all of this, the big question that people are asking is, first, the capacity of the judicial system to be able to carry out its duty, and also if the EFCC will win on this one. Let's not forget that the chairman of the EFCC, actually said from his own part that Bello does is not brought to book. But as it stands right now, it appears that it seems to be winning the war. But how far? Because one thing that will be on the lips of a lot of Nigerians is that we still have a lot of cases to trace back to over 15 years. That some governors who are now in the House of Assembly, in the National Assembly, or Senate, name it, all the way down, they are living large, they are feeling good. So the big question is, will the judicial system be able to carry out, pending on when all the evidences have been cleared before them, and will the EFCC win this particular one? Of course, it's an alleged 110 billion naira fraud, but it's a massive one. That money would have been put to good use. To the development of the people of Kogi State. But this is the situation of Kogi State right now, the situation of the ex-governor in Kuje prison. Like I said, it's not going to be celebrating Christmas.
The people at Kirikiri will feel jealous because it's going to be some really jolly Christmas for the Kuje Correctional Center, because you know what that means. An ex-governor is in there for Christmas. There's going to be a lot of visitors for the Christmas period. A lot of food would come in, and that just excites me.
I love the way you take this one.
No,
this particular conversation.
It is what it is, Victor. Because we all know what happened here.
You're correct.
On I think about 2 Fridays ago, when I was standing for Kunidan, some voices on the top, one of our guests, was someone that was recently pardoned, I think around July this year, by the governor of Lagos State, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and he was at the medium prison for 12 years and 7 months, and was eventually pardoned. And when he came in, we're having that conversation, and he was trying to talk to the people that, hey, crime does not pay, blah blah blah. And the twist? I asked him, I said, why you were there? Did you see Bobrisky? He said yes. That he was surprised when he came out and people started saying, Bobrisky didn't go to this, that. And that I should tweet at Bobrisky and say, overall pastor is greeting him, that he used to call Bobrisky Brother Idris, that because he's on the last room by the left wing, Bobrisky is on the first room by the right wing, that they see each other every day till they move Bobrisky to the maximum prison. And I just said, well, good enough. That means within those walls, a lot of things always go down, Victor.
True.
So having a Yaya Bello, the white lion himself, when they say the lion is the king of the jungle, I feel it's a dance of shame, because when the jungle is on fire, even the lion would run. And that was why Yahya Bello was nowhere to be found, or assumed to be nowhere to be found, for months. And whether you like it or not, Victor, you can enjoy all of the luxury you can imagine in this life. But even if people think when you are within the correctional centers, you enjoy luxury, let me not lie to you. That is freedom you have, and it's not liberty. There's a thin line between freedom and liberty. You are free to move around and to enjoy those privileges, but you are still within the walls of the prison. You don't have liberty to open the gates yourself and drive out.
What about the state of your mind?
Exactly, that alone is a prison on its own. You don't have the liberty to call your aides to be at your service. You don't have the liberty of praise singers that wakes you up every morning. You don't have the liberty of waking up and looking at how much billions you have in your account and how much luxury of cars you have in your compound. That is liberty that has been taken away from you, and that's what Yahya Bello would not enjoy. And one thing is sure, whether the EFCC chairman is saying he would resign this and that, the most important thing is that the case was amended. Additional amount was alleged for Yahya Bello to have stolen while he was governor. By the way, you know, sometimes when people start movements, you always wonder when or how opportunists always jump on the movement. Victor, there's some distraction. There's something unique about Rivers people. Every governor tenure have their own band that goes with them everywhere.
You said it.
I'm looking at Rivers now and I'm super laughing. But what I'm saying, Victor, is that if Yahya Bello thinks, this is going to be maybe business as usual, I don't really care what the problem is. Yahya Bello got into office as one of the most fortunate governors we've had in this country.
Okay.
He didn't contest that election, remember. Late Prince Audu was the candidate of the then ACN. His running mate was and is still the member representing Ikeja in the Federal House of Representatives, Honorable James Faleke. So on the day of the election, that Saturday, before the result was announced, Prince Audu died. So it became a legal issue. The running mate to Prince Audu, Honorable James Faleke, says, you know what, swear me in as the governor. I was on this ticket. And the court said, no, you didn't contest as a governor. You contested as a running mate to a governor. And the party owns the vote. So what happened? Yahya Bello lost the primaries of that election. In fact, he had left the ACN, but not official. But what happened? He was the one that came second in the primaries. And the vote and the result belongs to ACN, the party. And that was how Yahya Bello became the governor. It was a landmark judgment at the Supreme Court then. And Yahya Bello became the governor, making him the first person born after the Civil War to be a governor in Nigeria. We've had people younger than him, the Ojus or Kalis of this world, the Donald Dukes of this world. They were about 38, 37 when they became governor. But all of them were born before the Civil War. Yahya Bello was born after the Civil War, making him the youngest ever governor we have in this country. And what came after then? You had 4 years of bliss and luxury in a state that is supposed to be the heartbeat of this country. Kogi State is governed by 13 or more different states across board, from Kaduna to Nasarawa to Benue, down to Anambra, down to Ondo, down to Edo. Kogi State is at the center of everything. It's a confluent state. It's a state that has no reason to be poor, Victor. But go to Lokoja today, go to Okene today, go to Dekena today, go to Olamagboro today. There's practically no evidence of governance in that state. And then you had a governor that's supposed to be a youth. 8 years. Yahya Bello was one of the governors in this country that never believed in COVID-19. Vaccines were brought into Kogi State. Yahya Bello refused to bank and house those vaccines because he thinks there's no COVID anywhere. But what happened thereafter? You had all of that luxury. You wanted to contest for president. It's okay. The progressive governor said no, they want to endorse somebody. You went to the polls, you lost the primaries. At the end of the day, you collapsed your structure and campaigned for the president, and you were made the director of youth mobilization for the presidential campaign committee. You mobilized, you did all of the things you could. Then you had the election in your own state on the 11th of November 2023, and you brought in your successor, someone from your own zone, almost your first cousin. Nobody raised objection. Nobody said otherwise. The candidate of the SDP that came second in the APC primaries and the camp went to court to challenge the result. The court upheld the election of Governor Usman Ododo. And what happened thereafter? Things fell apart. Usman Ododo was abusing the privilege he has as immunity as a governor to shield a former governor that is under investigation for corruption and stealing allegedly over 80 billion of the state you are governing. So instead of you to open the books that was handed over to you, you were protecting the person that corrupted the book that was handed over to you, if there was any book at all.
Does that make him appear to be a loyalist?
And see, loyalty is a relative conversation that I really don't want to get into.
Okay.
See, when the former governor of Lagos State and former minister of Works and Housing, when he was being screened to be a minister under former President Olusegun Obasanjo, I'm talking about Babatunde Fashola.
Yeah.
The answer he gave when one of the senators asked him that what happened between yourself and your benefactor and principal, that's Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, then he was the leader of the then APC. Fashola said a statement on the floor of the Senate. He said, may your loyalty never be tested. His loyalty was thoroughly tested. And what happened? He stood his ground. So you have immunity as a governor, and then you don't want your principal, your father. Did you hear what the deputy governor said on the day of the inauguration? He said he was telling the people and his aides that if I give you instruction and White Lion gives you an instruction, leave my own instruction and carry out that of Yaya Bello.
And that's sending a very strong message.
He was already a former governor. So where do you place all of that?
That sounded like a place of godfatherism.
But at the end of the day, Victor, you can run as fast as you can. You can hide till you can hide no more. The hands of the law will catch you. Whether you do all of the drama, the surprise appearance at the EFCC office, whatever it is that you did, the hands, it's just like trying to hide behind one finger. You can't, Victor. You cannot raise your finger and think you as an individual, you're hiding behind that finger. I don't have any prejudice against Yaya Bello. I'm just wondering, Victor, by the virtue of what we do, I've been privileged to go to Kogi State a lot of times. And at times, you stay at Okene and you feel threatened because you look at the way everybody's eye, they read left and right. Everybody seems to, and you're wondering, how did this state get to this point? From Lokoja to Okene shouldn't take you 40 minutes. There are times you can spend 3 hours because of the bad roads that we have in those states. And then you have a governor that has been alleged to have stolen almost 100 billion of poor people's money. And instead of you to come out and say, this is my book, I don't have anything to hide, check it. Within this year and this year, this was what I got from the Federation account. From this year and this year, this was what came in from direct foreign investment. This and this is what came in as ecological funds. This and this is what came in with security votes. And these are the things we use these monies for. Why did it take Yaya Bello so long before allowing himself to be captured? Whatever the FC decides to do, and just like you said in your introduction, Victor, we have former governors that are enjoying luxury in the Senate right now, and they have cases to answer. Even the president of the Nigerian Senate, how clean are his books with the anti-graft agencies? Former governor of Abia State, Orji Uzor Kalu, was convicted and sentenced to jail. But what happened? A court ordered a retrial on the grounds of technicalities. Till today, there's no retrial. The court did not say they steal the people, the money of Edo State, Abia State people. The court only said the court that tried that case does not have the jurisdiction to try it. So there was supposed to be a retrial. Orji Uzor Kalu is part of the people campaigning for Nigerians to be patient with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There was a former governor in Plateau State that stole over 2 billion of ecological funds. What happened to Joshua Dariye? He was sentenced to 7 years in prison. After a little over a year, was released and pardoned by the former president Muhammadu Buhari. What did Plateau people do when he was coming out of prison? They bought Aṣwebi, they printed Ankara, they carried band and boss to welcome him back into the society. On the Plateau now is one of the kingmakers, choosing who becomes governor and who becomes senator. An ex-convict. What happens to Governor Reverend Jolly Nyame? He stole ecological funds. He couldn't account for those monies. And what happened? He was also pardoned. So when you have people that are supposed to be used to serve as scapegoat and deterrent to people in the society, riding on the high and the might and the influence they have within political space, then people would have doubt. A lot of people are saying, oh, Yahya Bello no go prison. He will stay in his house for Christmas. He will stay in his house for New Year. It is because there are already conversations around the fact that, oh, he could be able to beat the system. But I doubt it. I doubt it this time around. Whatever it is that the EFCC chairman is coming up with, I don't really care. I just want the books to be followed. If Yahya Bello stole a dime, he should be made to pay for it. What happens to the people that served under the last administration? What happens to Minister of Aviation? What happens to the Nigeria air scam that 괡ᴜᴛᴜ Malami? What happened to the allegations against them? Shouldn't these people should call to answer to what it is that they may have questions about? So Yahya Bello is just here, probably because he decided to make his own case a Netflix series. Because
indeed, a Netflix
Victor,
series.
If when the allegation was laid and when it was declared, do you know what it means for a former governor to be declared wanted? Even when you've not cleared all of your things from the government house, as recent as 3 months after your administration, you were declared wanted. Do you know what it means, Victor? So a man that has all of the influence you can imagine, you now start playing the hide and seek. You can't come out in public. You can't socialize. You can't go to parties. You can't do anything. You're not turned to someone that are using torchlight to look for when you're not Zakiazi.
Wherever you're hiding or wherever he was hiding at that particular point, I mean, what's he making statement? Now, Okpe, you mention names and they are out there for anyone who really would care to know how much these people really offended, the state of the nation Nigeria in terms of whatever allegation that is being laid on them. And the question that still goes on the minds of people now is, how much of an influence does this have on the younger generation? Now, let's come back to a conversation that was made some times back, all right, where a certain, judge was asking anti-graft agencies, all right, to go after the big fish, and not the small boys, not Yahoo boys. And we understand that when you're talking about nation building, it's all encompassing. You need the sanctity of your mind. You want everybody with their right thinking faculty. In everything that you're bringing to the table, it has to be upright. You may not get it 100%, but from all indication, when you look at all of this, you can tell for yourself that you have qualities on the table. You have people who have the interests of the nation at heart. And if you give them a job to do, you can go to sleep and be confident that they will deliver on the job. They will not be like people who want to cut corners. We have a story about Netflix and Nigeria today, that Netflix has left the country. Why did Netflix leave the country? Because our producers were not doing what they were supposed to do, or rather producers of movies were not using the entire money given to them. That's a story for another day. But we have situations where we have a lot of persons who could have been hanging somewhere or maybe facing the wrath of the law in total, but they are walking free. How does this in any way reflect in the life of the younger generation? And as an addendum to that question, for the EFCC, would this look like they are winning the war against corruption in Nigeria, or this could just be like another flash in the pan?
I don't care about anti-graft agencies winning war. You're doing your job. So your job is to clear every form of corruption, whether you're ICPC, your EFCC, your police, your whatever it is, whatever duty you have as stipulated and clearly defined by the law, Victor. That's why I cannot celebrate a minister for doing his job.
It is your
Whoever
job.
picked you
It is
saw that
what you swore to do.
No, you're not even the most intelligent. But whatever reason you got into the mix, yes, we can acknowledge the few that are doing what they're supposed to do. And this is why, Victor, when you've been starved of greatness, every flash of excellence becomes a big deal for you. That is why even as a nation, in February this year, when we lost the final of the African Cup of Nations, the guys that lost the final were given national honors, were given landed property. Some of them even got chieftaincy titles.
I don't know why you choose to remind
No,
me.
I'm just saying.
Yes,
So you
painful.
you look at regular things that people should do. You're a minister of works. we should have good roads, right? You're a minister of health, our hospitals should work. You're a minister of aviation, we should have safety on our flight route. You're a minister of interior, we should not be having jailbreaks.
Just do your job.
We should not be spending months applying for passports. Do your job. So when you do your job, you live in luxury for holding that post you are holding. In fact, you're a public servant. So why should I be telling you that I'm carrying drums because you are doing what I'm paying you to do?
And celebrating
if you don't
for
do
doing
what
your
I'm
job.
paying you to do, I have the right to sack you. Now, that is why, as a voter, if a governor is not doing well, I have the right to put my case against the governor. If I have a lawmaker that is not making laws good enough for me as a constituent, I have the right to recall that lawmaker. It's as simple as that. Public servants should not see what they do as a favor or a right that we don't deserve in Nigeria. No! I'm a Nigerian, Victor. You and I will pay our tax regularly, right? And then whatever it is that is being used to pay the ministers or pay the governors, it's not that they're doing this job pro bono. They're getting millions and luxury accompanying it. So
Taxpayers
I can't sit here and wax lyrics about the governor that is doing his job. I'm not going to do that, Victor. Now let's come back to it. One of the problems we have in Nigeria is no longer the problem of leadership. It is becoming the problem of followership.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you look at it and you think that, oh, even a bad leader was probably a bad follower at some point. Right? He learned the bad things from the bad leader that he had. So he chooses not to learn the good things. So he was also a bad follower. Now, when he becomes a leader, what you don't have, Victor,
you can't give.
You cannot give.
True.
So you were born out of a faulty system.
And apple doesn't fall too far from its tree.
When you get to that top, it's going to be faulty. So I'm a bit worried for this generation of ours and even the one coming behind us. The mindset that we have about life, especially within the political space, is deadly. It's deadlier than even the people who are trying to get rid of. Because we've seen them live in affluence. We've seen them and made so much wealth, and we think that, and because those people, there are times there are not this much pressure, right? There's not this much pressure to have all of the luxuries of life. You want to drive expensive cars. You want to live in the biggest areas. You want to pull off all of the levels as a young man. When some of these old politicians in code that were trying to push out of the system, when they were at our age, this pressure was not this much, Victor. So if you set antecedents like this, right, it's going to be a reference point in the next few years. When this person was governor, he didn't do nothing to him, right? Did he steal your money? He did. Victor, every time a politician takes a dime out of the taxpayers' monies that does not rightfully belong to him, it is a breach of public trust. There's something they call social contract in politics. When I come to you as a governorship candidate, Victor, and I say, Mr. Achibong, when I was your age, I had no shoes. I trekked from Yenegua to so and so place. Please vote for me. You've gone into a social contract. We've gone into a social contract that if I give you my voter's card, which is my right, I've contracted that right to you for the next 4 years. So what you're supposed to give me in return is everything that right affords me. Security, education, public infrastructures, health, proper lifestyle, good roads, ability to provide a level playing ground, a business-friendly environment. Those are the things that your voter's card gives you as Victor, gives me as Ope. So when we go into that social contract, and me, I've played my own part of the contract by voting for you. And then when you get into office and you fail to do all of the things you promised me, you've breached your own side of the contract. I should sue you. It's as simple as that, Victor. I should sue you. So you look at the young people that are grooming in quotes themselves to take over political office. Some of them are just media aides, and they've turned to God on their own. In fact, some of them, it is difficult to see their principal. It is easier to see their principal than see them that are media aides. They've turned to gods on their own.
We even have the senior legislative aides.
They are aides, they are legislative aides, they are senior legislative aides, they are personal assistant, they are senior personal assistant, there's this, there's that. There was a time where a certain Senate president in this country had 93 aides. 93 aides, not the governor, not the president.
Was he running the company?
He was a former governor. He was a former governor of a state. Then he got into the Senate and became the president of the Nigerian Senate. He had 93 aides. He doesn't pay those aides from his personal money, Victor. Those are taxpayers' monies. So you have a personal assistant that has an aide on its own. So you see those aides, the luxury of influence they think that they have. Sometimes I want to get an information for some of the things we do here. And then you reach out to one senior special advisor to the governor of media, and he leaves your message for days, and you keep calling, and then you keep texting, and it's like you're pestering him.
And he's actually reading the message. And
Yes.
he's not replying.
And it's like you're pestering him to do his job. Your job is to make information available to the media. Then I'm reaching you to give me that information as a media, and you're making it look like I'm asking you to release your placenta to me. That's not what I'm asking for. So we have a problem where we may struggle to contain the problem of followership now than the leadership issues that we are following. Have we not seen where young people have been given responsibilities, Victor, even outside of political space, and they fluffed their lines? Have we not seen where young people have held political offices and they fluffed their lines? Let me give you this journey. The son of the former senator from Ogun State, the governorship candidate of PDP in the 2019 governorship election, the late Senator Buji Kashamu, his son is 26 years old, or he was 26 years old when he won his election last year. He's in the Ogun State House of Assembly. How old is Nasir El-Rufai, Bello El-Rufai's son? He's the chairman, House of Reps Committee on Banking, even as a first-time Reps member. I was on one of his live recently, and he said he's not running for second term. And I can tell you for a fact today that Bello Nasir El-Rufai is one of the most performing House of Reps member we have here. He's representing Kaduna North Federal Reps. He said he's not going for second term, that his mandate is just 4 years, and he's doing the best he can. Street lights, rural electrification, bursary, budget, giving out to the people of his constituencies. But some senators, since they became senators, they've gone MIA, missing in action. Some ministers, they don't even understand what the portfolios of their offices are, but are still there. There was a lady that won in Kwara State, 26 years old. She was on station like about 2 or 3 times during her campaign. She defeated a wrong mindset are they going into that system with. It's almost like a good person get into the system and the system consumes him and overwhelms him, and he becomes to do something different. On the issue of EFCC saying that the judge saying that EFCC should not go after big criminals, Victor, we cannot categorize criminality, right? The law is the law. If you steal, if you obtain by fraud, whether you take $1 or you take 1 billion, bros, the law does not care what the what's this called, the proceed of your crime is. The law is the law, and that's the fact. If you do internet fraud and you take $1 and somebody does internet fraud and takes $10, both of you have committed fraud, and you'll be made to pay for it. So nothing stops the anti-graft agencies from picking thieves that are politicians, even thieves that are within the organized private sector, thieves that are not even holding political offices but are in top government agencies, and the thieves that are behind their system, taking people and milking people of the hard-earned money. Everybody na thief. Victor.
Well, interesting it is, you will say. Anyway, if you are just joining us, this is Midweek Politics on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. And of course, you've heard my voice, Victor Achibong, as well as that of Okoyemi Akinyode. And together we're looking at Okoyemi is providing analysis to all of the stories we are bringing to the table. Before now, we talked about the banking system and the reason we have little money to be collected across the counter. We don't understand why this is happening, but of course, we're hoping that we should be able to get real answers from the banking system. If anyone working around there can tell us why it is happening, we appreciate. Or anyone who knows something about it, we will appreciate, because we truly want to know why you won't be able or can't be able to withdraw money across the counter, your own money, beyond 5,000, beyond 10,000. But when you go outside to a point of sales operators, you see them giving you huge amount of money, and even up to the fact that yes, people buy money. Just then sometimes ago talking about Nigeria being the largest or the biggest African country in Africa. I'm trying to look for that adjective that they actually use. It's something that I've always been using for Nigeria. My mind is not going there right now. When it was referring to Kemi Benedok.
See, Victor, I think this may not come out good. And then thank God I'm not where you are this afternoon. Thank God I'm on the other side. So I think I'm allowed to still express my thoughts.
Express your thought, please.
You see, I think it's time we got down from the high horse of we being the giant of Africa.
Thank you very much. That's what I was looking for, the giant of Africa.
Going beyond the size of our population.
I asked the question, if we're going to be bigger or larger than US in 2050, does that still make us any better than South Africa or even Ghana? Rwanda is there, Kenya is there. Seychelles, a very, very small country in the island of the southern part or the southern Africa. They have good economy. The people there are living well. The standard of living is on the high.
You know, as much as I always like to make comparison, sometimes I always want to consider the complexity of some of these countries. I'm not sure the entire Seychelles is up to Surulere local government alone.
But it doesn't matter.
And that's what I'm saying. That
the truth of the matter is that
leadership should be spread across.
They choose to have such numbers. All right. In our case now, we are projecting over 300 million, 400, 500 million by 2050.
And we are failing to take advantage of our own population. We see our population explosion as a cause, whereas it should be a blessing.
By the way, it's part of what we're going to be discussing tomorrow on Voices from the Street. So stay with us. Family planning. Men are not giving their wives permission to do family planning. That's going to be on Voices from the Street. Stay with me. That's Victor, for tomorrow. Okay, let's go to the second story.
Please, let's go on to that.
Yeah, just some 4 minutes before 2 p.m. Don't forget, this is still midweek politics, and it's the Christmas spirit all over in the air. As much as we're giving all of the stories out, we're not trying to make anybody feel bad, but it is the obvious truth. Let's talk about it. People, we go to the next story here, which says that Nigeria will choose their president. Atiku replies Akume. I don't want to go into details with the story, but of course, I think across the front burners, a lot of persons are in tune with this particular story. But one thing that is sacrosanct to the hearts of Nigerians right now is, what will the followers do? You've mentioned extensively about the position of the followers. It is not just the leaders. We need to be hammering responsibility on the followers as well. And I think this is one of the reasons the special advisor on media, Paul Ibe, for Atiku Abubakar, came out to reply George Akume, SGF of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that, hey, leave that. You're saying that Mr. President still has 27 or 2027 for himself up until 2031. It's just your own call. The people will decide. Okay, how much? This is where we're going to stay with now on this conversation. How much ready are Nigerians to decide come 2027?
Victor, when people you so much respect and place highly make certain statements, it just makes you sit back and have a second thought about how or what are your yardstick for, in quote, rating people highly. The SGF is one of the most experienced politicians that we have in this country. He's been there at the state level, executive, legislative, before it became
seen it all and done it all.
The SGF. And the SGF is more like de facto president, because they're in charge of the secretariats. You are the heartbeat of the government.
True.
You field, you wield. Whatever is not in your document is never happened. It's just like taking a minute of a meeting. Whatever it is that did not reflect in the minute of that meeting did not happen in the meeting. So as the SGF, you are the secretary to the government of the federation. So, and then you look at people that don't even know if they will be alive the next 1 minute. of 10 seconds. Talking about what will happen in 2027 and 2031. That is to one side, Victor. Okay. We practice them, complain that, oh, why are the Labour Party people going to PDP or going to APC? Why are the legislators decamping? They rode on Peter Obi's, whatever. Let me explain something to you. Legislative duties is about lobbying, and lobbying has to do with numbers. Do you understand? If you are not the majority on the floor of the house, you're not even the minority on the floor of the house, there are a lot of things that will go over your head.
You're voiceless.
Because you don't have the numbers.
You don't count.
And you won't suffer as a reps because you will get all of your extra code, all of the benefits that comes to you. But your constituent will suffer in terms of project and lobbying. Even when you make bills, if you don't have the support by numbers, the nays will always override your yeas. So, if you think people can just stay there, cross leg, do years have it, and collect their monies, you as a constituent, you will suffer. Because when it comes to committee appointment, Victor, they will first look at the high ranking members. They will look at the majority and the minority, which is the opposition on the floor of the house.
So these things are strategic.
These things are strategic. Otherwise, you will just be there. You would not have any relevance.
And that is when they will not come and ask them,
why
what
do
was
you
your influence?
Why do you think the late senator that won his election by YPP, I'll try and remember his name now, Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴀ, why do you think he moved to the APC? Because YPP is the only YPP senator on the floor of the house out of 109. Your opinion will not hold any water. So legislative commitment is about numbers and lobbying. You cannot even get constituency project zoned to you if you don't have the numbers to push your cause. That is to one side. Now let's get back to what we're talking about. When the SGF made that statement, he clearly justifies why Nigerians don't want to participate in election again. Because it's like, oh, they already know who is going to win the election. They already know what is going to happen in 2027. That is why the SGF would come out to say that the Northerners should wait for their turn. By the way, he's from the North Central.
And if
he's from Benue.
If we go by how you qualify him being a de facto president,
yes,
automatically it means the president was talking.
Yes. It's as simple as that. Victor, last weekend, Africa witnessed one of the most, I'm not saying it was a perfect election, but when you look at a continent that can barely give you 40% in election ratings and one gives you 75-80%, then it's near perfection. Over the weekend, we witnessed one of the freest and the fairest election Africa had ever conducted in Ghana that brought back the former President John Mahama. He won the election. Even the chairman of INEC, Professor Yakub Mahmoud, was one of the leaders of the EU observers team that went to observe the election. He gave credit to the Ghanaian electoral body. Even though he said they copied Nigeria, but they copied you.
What part of our election?
I'm coming. He explained it. The soundbite is there. He talked about it. That you know what happened? Our mode of transmission, they copied it. But they transmitted and they copied it well, Victor. They copied it well. There were no cases of post-electoral violence, Victor. There were no cases of issues. There were no cases of this person was this person was this person. None of such happened, Victor. It was a case of, do you know the percentage of people that came out to vote in the Ghanaian election? 87%. When we were going into the 2023 election, INEC told us that we have almost 100 million registered voters. How many people came out to vote in the election? The president won the election with less than 7 million votes. In fact, the top three leading candidates, Victor, they had over 6 million. Peter Obi had about 6.1 million. Atiku Abubakar had about 6.8 million. The president did not even have up to 9 million votes. Put all of that together, plus the 10,000s, the 300, the 720, the little numbers, we didn't have up to 25 million people come vote in the last election. That's less than 25% of the entire election. Ghana recorded over 80%. People came out. Even the person that lost the election already called the president-elect and congratulated him. The sitting vice president.
It was officially announced.
The sitting vice president. So, we ask ourselves, if we are saying that people should be involved in politics, and not just the political song singing and hallelujah boys now. Be participatory enough in the election. Don't use your voters card just to do transactions or to go to banks. No. Use it to choose who governs you. Use it to choose who preside over you. Use it to choose who legislate on your behalf at the federal and at the state level. That is what your voters card are meant for. But when you hear the secretary to the government of the federation coming out to say that a region should wait for their time, it takes everything that democracy defines away from you. And this person is supposed to be one of the people that should embody what democracy is about. You are the heartbeat of the president. You are the owner of the presidency. You are the custodian of the secretariat of the presidency. You are the SGF. And you are saying a certain region that you actually even come from should wait for their turn. When is their turn, my guy? Democracy is about the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That means the people will choose the people they want to have leadership over them.
Well, the question again, Okhbe, is, are the people ready to choose? You made mention of Ghana. And I think Ghana has just proven to the entire world that Africa can get it right if only and only the people are ready to. But we're talking about Nigeria here. Are the people ready?
Election is a very sensitive thing. A lot of us may have, looked down on the election and think it's a tradition. Every 4 years we vote for president. And with the way our election is structured right now, every single year, Victor, from now to whatever it is that we choose to do, we're going to have election every year. Last year we had the presidential election in February and March. By the 11th of November, we were running 3 off-cycle elections on the same day. Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa. This year, we've had 2 off-cycle elections in Edo in September, in Ondo in November. Next year, there's going to be off-cycle election. In 2026, there's going to be off-cycle election in Osun and Ekiti. By 2027, there's going to be another election for the presidential and general election. Then by November 2027, Usman Ododo would also want to run again if he wants to. Hope Uzodinma will be handing over to who is going to succeed him. And Diri in Bayelsa will have completed the second term. So we have elections all year round, Victor. We're going to keep having elections and elections and elections. Let me tell you the advantage of that. It means that we can make laws, or we can, work on our electoral laws, and then we have active ways of trying them out. If you are bringing changes into electoral laws, you try it out at the governorship elections. Do you understand what I'm saying? You try it out at the senatorial by-elections. There are by-elections everywhere. Senators die, reps members die. They will conduct elections to refill their seats. If there are new laws they are bringing into the election, you don't have to wait till the presidential election to try them. You try it during these off-cycle elections. You can even organize mock elections to try these things. Victor, if you're talking about we should have laws, our electoral laws reviewed, what happens to you and I be disenfranchised because we work in the media on election that we cannot vote? You think I don't want to vote? You think I don't want to choose who preside over me? I want to. But because of what I do, I can't. Why shouldn't there be early voters here? I'm a journalist. I'm an essential worker. That is why during lockdown I can move around. During curfew I can move around because I'm an essential worker. Why should I be disenfranchised because of what I do? As a medical personnel, why should I be disenfranchised because of what I do? During the US election, Victor, 10 days to the election day, they've recorded over 73 million early votes. Victor, the last presidential election here, we started our coverage from where the president voted at Alausa, right behind the ICM. Victor, that place is fully government area. People don't live there. But because your voters registration is done during the week, so you are most likely going to register while you are at the office. So that is where you registered. When they release the voters register, that is where your name would appear. True. But you stay at Ijoko.
How do you get to your place of
registration?
You
stay at Songota. You stay at Mushin. You stay at Idioro. You stay at Abuleta. How do you move from Idioro to come to Alausa to come and exercise your franchise? You've been disenfranchised. Not that you don't want to, But because where you registered is not where you stay. Victor, if I have an ATM card that I registered at Ikeja, that I picked up the ATM at Ikeja, I can use it in Duse. Right? I can use it in Malufanchi. I can use it in Koi in Kaduna. I can use it in Agbo in Delta State. My ATM card has nothing to do with where I registered it. Why can't my PVC be that way? Are the numbers not going to the same side? People being disenfranchised. It's not really like people don't even want to come out. People want to come out, but you shut down the entire country on election day. On the eve of the election, you even close the airspace. Flights can't come in. From 12 midnight, flights can't come in on election day. You do governorship election. 2 days to the election, you close down work that people should go to their local government and go and vote.
How are you going to move around with this high cost of fuel and
Exactly,
transportation?
Victor. So when we talk about voter
Whether
apathy,
you want to go by road or by flight, anyone at
when
all.
we talk about voter apathy, it's not just because of statements like what Senator George Akume has said. It's not just about that. It is the institution itself that has deliberately disenfranchised the people. If I can use my ATM that I registered in Lagos in Gombe, if I can use my ATM that I registered in Kaduna, I can use it in Abakaliki in Ebonyi. Why can't I use my voter's card anywhere across the country? Is it not the same voters list that they'll give us? It's not the same ballot paper they give us. The president is not one president that I'm campaigning, that I'm voting for, right? It's the president, only one. So all of the result is going to a central server. So why do I have to live in Jos? Or probably the period they were doing continuous voters registration, I was in Abeokuta doing a project for 3 months, and I registered in Abeokuta. But my project was done before the election, and I've gone back to where I'm staying in Ijero Ekiti. So on election day, I cannot vote because I'm in Ijero, or I should come to Abeokuta on the eve of the election and come and exercise my franchise. Isn't that an institution that is deliberately disenfranchising the people, Victor? So when you put all of this in context with the statement of people like Senator George Akume, then you understand why people are no longer interested in elections. You understand why people just fold their hands on election day and they go to visit people on election day, they play ball on the street on election day, they stay indoors. Because the institution itself has disenfranchised the people. If my international passport can be valid across the country, if my national ID card can identify me in Zamfara, identify me in Agwarogo in Jos, identify me in Koi in Kaduna, why can't my voters card do the same for me, Victor? So when we talk about touching our electoral laws, it goes beyond punishing electoral offenders. It boils down to breaking down institutions of government that have made serious election impossible in this country. Let the people have the right to vote from the comfort of their homes. You don't have to shut down the country for elections, Victor. I had someone in 2016 that was in Nigeria during Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump's first term. He just told me, he said, okay, give me data. And I connected my Wi-Fi to his hotspot. And right there, he voted.
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria. We're together. Except I've traveled that time, I didn't know. And within 10 seconds, he got a mail acknowledging the fact that, congratulations, thank you very much for being a proud American citizen. You've exercised your franchise. Right in Nigeria. Victor, how long does it take us to do that? Do you know how many billions would always get to conduct elections in this country? How many staff does INEC have? Less than 15,000.
A lot of technicalities involved in this.
Scattered across 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. INEC says they use over 4 million ad hoc staff during election. Road transport workers, volunteers, NYSC, that's core members, a lot of other people that get involved in election. Why do we have to do all of this, Victor?
A whole lot to take in there. Technicalities involved in this, and I think this is more one of the reasons that we've all been asking for electoral reform, so as to accommodate a lot of persons who during election days may be disenfranchised. Well, it's still midweek politics right here on mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. I think we're just going to skip one story and move next to the other story. I'm looking at the INEC chairman monitor Ghana. If I'm to play this sound bites, the Ghana election, I should let it just slide. I think I will let it slide because I have it right here with me. So, okay. We're going to play it so that you hear people. That would take us straight into the next conversation. And that is the next story is about that of the Edo State Governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo. Remember, just yesterday, he presented the 2025 budgets for the... I don't know why Okpe is laughing. Because before now, Okpe told me that he's going to laugh. But I don't know why he's laughing. So he presented the budget to the people of Edo State. And it's part of what he agreed during his campaign manifesto, that 5 major things he's going to do. And that budget will cover it. But before then, let us quickly play you the soundbite of INEC chairman when he was an observer in the just concluded Ghana general election that brought in former presidents as current presidents in that nation. This is still Midweek Politics on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name remains Victor Achibong. Okoyemi Akinode is also here with me. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere.
Well, it has been a very interesting election. We came here as part of the ECOWAS network of electoral commissions with colleagues from Sierra Leone and Liberia, and also with colleagues from the Southern African region. And there is been a gracious concession on the part of the other candidate of the main party. So we are grateful that it has gone very well, but the process is still on. The election result has not been officially announced by the Electoral Commission, so we'll go and continuously support our colleague in the Electoral Commission. But we are very happy with this process. There are many things I've observed. The first thing is the political parties. One of the lessons I think from this election for me is the fact that opposition candidate was vice president and president of the Republic of Ghana, lost elections on 2 different occasions, is now 5-time elected. And the candidate of the ruling party has also been in the same party, which has been in and out of power for a long time. Rarely in Ghana do you see people moving from one party to another with every general election. So that is important. It provides stability. It also provides their supporters stability, so that you have people who support political parties for many, many years. So whether the party is in power or in opposition, they stick to the political party. The second thing for me is the lesson that Ghana also learned from Nigeria in the area of managing constituency election results. Until the last election in Ghana, all results come to the EC headquarters in Accra, that is parliamentary and presidential. Although Ghana is not a federal system, but they learn from Nigeria where you have returning officers that announce results for parliamentary elections in the various constituencies around the country. Only the presidential election results come to Accra. So in Nigeria, this is what we have done, and they followed a lead from us, and this is the second time they're implementing that. That's why, as you can see, the declaration of the presidential election result was a lot faster than it used to be in the past.
Welcome, guys. What's poppin'? What's going on? It's your girl BB, the biggest BB. Season to be merry, season to be jolly, and of course the season to be outside, because we've been working all year round. This is just me coming on here to wish all of you for rocking with us on Mainland 98.3 FM. And yeah, I wish you all a very beautiful Christmas. Happy Christmas. See you all next year.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Hi, this is Rio from It's the perfect perfect season to reflect on life's blessings and share joy with those around as you enjoy the From all of us at Mainland 98.3 FM, have a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. May your days your Christmases be white.
It's beginning. Everywhere you go, take a look in the 5 and 10. Candy canes, silver lanes aglow.
All right, you are still here. We are still here, and it's good to know. We played you the soundbite of the INEC chairman, who was an observer at the just concluded Ghana general election. Of course, you heard everything he said there, and well, it just goes to show that yes, he went to observe, and we just hope that at the same time he will bring back what he observed into our next election.
And what does he have to bring back? He said he copied us now.
Well,
so what is he bringing back?
He said they did a very good job.
Oh.
A very, very good job. So it is a very good job we are, and a very, very good job we are waiting for. If they can be replicated in our own election. And also, it's Merry Christmas. So we're wishing you Merry Christmas in advance, people. Don't worry. Oᴘᴇ has already said it. Voices from the street will be taking your Christmas greetings. I don't know how you're going to get in touch with me, but we have a WhatsApp number here. You can drop your message here. We'll get it somehow, and then we'll play it out for everybody to hear. 21 minutes past 2 p.m. We'll quickly look at the last story here because a lot of persons have been calling and there are so many messages on Facebook as well. Oᴘᴇ and I were talking about it. How far is he going to be? Oᴘᴇ knows he's going to read messages, and he will read well. Anyway, Oᴘᴇ, the last story is that of Edo State. And let me just go straight. I'll read it up here. It says that Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo was caught in a mix of confusion during the presentation of the 2025 budget of the State House of Assembly on Tuesday. The governor noted during his presentation that the proposed budget estimated at 605 billion naira reflects a 25% increase from the 2024 budget. The appropriation bill is titled Budget of Renewed Hope for a Rising Edo. Okpebholo, a member of the All Progressives Congress who won the state's 2024 governorship election, defeated Aswe Ighodalo of the People's Democratic Party and Olumide Akpata of the Labour Party, struggled with the pronunciation of the budget's numerical value, as seen in a video. Interestingly, the chairman of the All Progressives Congress Edo State also said that he doesn't know the figure. And he made a lot of statements when he was interviewed, sometimes, not quite long. But it's quite an interesting one. People have come out to be asking why. But it's not the only, political office holder who had difficulty pronouncing figures. I mean, it's figures. It's figures. There's a way these things could be written that you know it's written. But ideally, I think the governor should have first proofread, or maybe whoever that is reading on his behalf should have been able to let him know all of these things before you go out into the public space. Okay.
Well, I watched the interview of Honorable Jared Tenebe earlier today. That's the APC chairman for Edo State, and he was justifying what His Excellency Senator Monday Okpebholo. I heard the proper pronunciation of the name yesterday. That is Okpebholo. Yeah. That the B is not silent. Exactly. So I hope I get used to it going forward. But when I watched the video of Honorable Jared Tenebe, I just laughed. First off, I understand how Nigerians went to the field as quick as possible with this, because after the fallout of the Edo election, everything had been really quiet. Olumide Akpata had gone back to his practice. Nobody even knows where the immediate past governor, Obaseki is. I still saw, Mr. Aswe Godalo very recently at a public function, and so I think for me, what is most important is whether they call it 650 billion or 6 billion and 50, 605.
And by the way, there's another video circulating.
It looks like even the first video was edited or tailored or doctored, whatever it is. But I was almost, trying to compare both videos. Then I saw the interview of the APC state chairman defending the video that a lot of people thought was doctored. So I'm wondering, like, if the video was doctored, then why is the state chairman coming to defend what happened in that video? So I just felt, what, I don't want to, do the bandwagon effect on that particular conversation.
All right.
Whether it's the six.
You need water?
I don't need water. I told you in the morning that I will laugh on this particular topic because that was how the governor was struggling yesterday. But what is most important to me, Victor, is whether they call it 605 billion or 6 billion and 50 million. The most important thing is that those figures will be released.
Hold your breath.
Okay,
we have the sound bites. Okay. We're going to play the sound bites here. So people, listen to it so that it doesn't look as if maybe we're just, playing this thing or saying this thing. We'll be right back. Just listen to it yourself again. Again, if you missed it, please listen to it.
Appropriation bill of 6 billion 650 76 million 76. Let me take it again. 605 billion, sorry. 776 billion. Okay.
Order the House, please. Mr. Speaker must be held in silence, please.
605 billion. And details of the budget proposed. Thank you.
I'm not going to bring up back to the phone. I'm opening the phone line immediately right now. Okay, please.
I'm trying to cut Let's go to the phone line.
The phone line. Sorry, Okbe. Sorry.
Well,
Okbe,
the
sorry.
FPC chairman said is because the governor is very real and pure. And it was funny how they quickly made it political. And then, I watched Honorable Jarrett, Tenebe saying that if it was Answer Godalo, he would have been able to pronounce it well. If it was, what's the name of the immediate past governor? If it was Godwin Obaseki, he would have been able to pronounce it well because they have stolen money. And I'm like, excuse me, how did you move from this to this?
09136000410.
It's crazy.
And also, Facebook messages are there. Okpeyemi, thank you very much. You've taken the responsibility of reading the messages today. We have other platforms, WhatsApp and text, and definitely I'll be here to look at these messages and read as well. Remember to go straight to the conversation, whichever one you want to be a part of or discuss. Feel free to do justice to it. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Oh, guess we lost that call. Let's move to the next one. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Ope, and Vic agreed to will be calling from Ikeja.
All right, you're welcome.
My brother, I essentially sympathize with the governor. I think the managers didn't do well at all. They know his deficiencies. What they would have done is to write that in words for him, and prepare him well. You see, sincerely speaking, I'm just imagining what that man went through standing before people. I I don't wish my enemy this. So I think the blood ran from their deaths. I think if you check in, you must agree with. I'm 100% sure on the party. So this is unfortunate for this nation.
Thank you very much. I'm not so sure about that one. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, please, welcome.
Wale is my name. I'm calling from Alagbole.
All right, Wale from Alagbole. Let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah, you can bear with me now that debate is very, very important during electioneering. We went to Chatham and we allow people that our entourage to be answering questions. Now, when it was time for debate in Lagos, in Nigeria, here, this governor, Okwewolo, dodged all this into all invitation to debate. Now we can now see. And it is not only figure. Somebody says it's only figure there. Is it proposed or proposer? Budget proposed. Budget, oh my God, we are in trouble in Nigeria. May God deliver us. Thank you. I agree with you so much.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate you. All right, still 091 3600 That's the number. Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, Victor, I greet you.
All right, you're welcome, Ufoma.
We need to say it once in a while.
You are right, Jairo. To be honest with you, 100%. You know, one of the callers that was telling that we should go and sleep. I heard that he's listening right now. So he's the one that should go and sleep. As I say, he should go and sleep 8 hours, wake up and go and see the mirror. And
Ufoma, you still carry this yesterday's conversation today.
It's so annoying. Election so were free and free. Ìyàn kan wá ní ká lọ sùn. Tari wúruwúru tí wọ́n ṣe fún wa. Òun ni kó lọ sùn kó jí kó wo mìíràn pé ṣí lóòótọ́ ni Bọ́lá Tinubu win election. So let that one apart. The issue of the Edo State governor, you know, one of your guests also said that the ability to present itself very well is not there. Maybe one of the interviews they grant onto the debate before the election, you know, it's like he was struggling to use his word, and also reflected when he was in present the budget yesterday. You know, we did not have them. You know, let's just beg Ghana. Thank God Ghana traveled to Ghana. He himself can testify how the election was free and fair. So in the back of his mind, even though the chairman of INEC, we also know that most of the election he has been conducting is not free and fair. But we pray that we will get it right. But the issue Atiku Okpeyemi, if Atiku could have been patient when Jonathan was going for the second time, by now Atiku could have become the Nigeria head, because the lack of patience also troubling. For 2027, I pray that the INEC should do the needful and the right candidate. Where's your Ghana? For what?
He should rest. We've given him sabbatical.
Thank you very much, Ufoma.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello?
Yes, please. Are you there?
Hello?
Yeah, okay.
Hello?
Okay, well, sorry, we can't hear you now. Hello, good afternoon.
I greet you.
Yes, good afternoon, please. The name and where you're calling from.
Victor.
Good afternoon, sir.
I greet you. Oh, you did your head.
Oh, yeah, there your head. Baturi. Baturi.
I greet you, Okweyemi.
Okweyemi, they hear you very well.
Dampi from Igondo.
Okay, Dampi from Igondo.
Well, I must congratulate Ufoma. Ufoma has spoken my mind well. Those people that say that, yes, the election was fair, they should go to the mirror. When they wake up in the morning, they should go and sleep and wake up and check the mirror. Tell us if the election was fair. Do you know that I collected a stab because of this election? The mark is still on my back. This man that went to Ghana to go and check, what did he go and do? He said that the Ghana copied us. How will they copy you? And it is against what all around to ban, destroy, be running away. Now we are
you up again now, right? Thank you. Hello.
Minimum the level of your qualification, where you are.
The presidency is O level.
We have professors in this country that are not transparent. No, that's just the truth. Sure, you understand. I'm not excusing mediocrity. I'm not saying that
if you are not educated, you should aspire or you should occupy position of office. But what I'm saying is that the man could be just like what somebody said, could be a kind of maybe a game changer, somebody that has the aspiration to perform.
All right.
But probably, but it's limited to some extent.
Okay.
Academically.
All right. Thank you.
So it could be that way. But I'm coming. But then those that, like I said, those that are professors that has ruled us, that has presided over our elections, since what good result have they provided for us? See where Nigeria is now. All the lawyers, all the professions, all the learned colleges.
Thank you. All right, let's take this last one. Then we'll read messages from Facebook. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
Good afternoon, Victor.
You're welcome.
Sincerely, you guys are doing great job. So, based on what you are seeing about the presentation of budget,
So what's your name and where you're calling from, please?
James from Agbado Junction.
All right, Mr. James from Agbado Junction. Go ahead.
What we witness is not something far from what we expected, because if our electoral act had not permitted all these loopholes, which through these people emerge, believe you me, we would not be having all these kind of people in the place of handling affairs of our country. Now look at who said that he went to Ghana to, as one of those delegates that went there to witness how the election of Ghana went. If he was telling you that they learned from Nigeria, at the end of the day, did they learn from Nigeria about ballot box nation or about vote buying and all of that? I don't know whether the man actually see those things happening there, that he said that they learned from Nigeria. So it's just like this is where we find ourselves. This electoral act, and now my fear is that who is going to amend it? Who is going to reform it? Are they not the same set of people that are hell-bent to continue with what we are having there so that they will perpetuate themselves there? Are they the ones that are going to reform the electoral act? Some people are saying, let's wait till 2027. With 2027, are they not saying the same thing? What we witness in Mɪᴅ State, Edo State, and Ondo State, respectively, you are still going to witness the same thing. They will tell you have to go to court. Hello?
Well, with you, wrap up your thoughts.
So that's my point. So this 2027, if that's our electoral act, we don't do anything about it, they will end up telling you go to court if you feel aggrieved. And the same thing will continue happening, and we see having the same kind of people in the place of our distance. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, James from Agbado Junction. Let's pass on the button now to Okoyemi as he reads messages from Facebook. Okay.
Okay, facebook.com/mainland98.3 FM. Don't forget that I was streaming this program. Let me read a couple of the messages that you have here already. It's Midweek Politics, live from Mainland 98.3 FM. Olufemi Olayinka Ajayi says you're right. Well, I don't know which of the conversations you're referring to, but Sunday Noah says, Mr. Okpa, you shouldn't blame the governor Ododo for shielding Yaya Bello. You may have done the same thing because you can't bite the finger that fed you. The EFCC have started prosecuting Yaya Bello. I pray the case is not bungled on technical grounds. Nigeria is very classic and fragile when it comes to corruption issues. Noah from Igondo. John Bernardo E on Facebook says, good afternoon, guys. The SGF saying there's no vacancy in Aso Rock in 2027 is an insult to Nigerians and an indictment to the ruling party planning to rig the election. You should allow Nigerians to choose who they feel would be good for them. Well, Festus Ogun on Facebook says, Festus Ologun on Facebook says, good afternoon, guys. We're not playing politics with selfless definition of democracy in this part of the world. Ghana did well. We must learn from them. Honestly, I've been waiting for this conversation on electoral reforms. This is what we must focus on first before we talk about merger, rotation, and a regional plan or something else. Without fixing electoral laws, we will not be able to bring on board credible leaders. The reforms we need are the genuine reforms that cannot be scuffled, manipulated, and captured by any form of judicial rascalities, technicalities, individualism, nepotism, and emilocomism. Okay, that's interesting. The nation as it stands today is captured because we shifted the goalposts during the game with impunity. Dr. Abiodun, please fix Ijoko Agbado Road. Governor Dr. Abiodun, please come to the aid of the people living at Magboro. Yes. Okay. Darlington Ogba says, good afternoon to the two bulldozers. I greet you guys cordially. Our politicians are jokers, and I will keep saying this. When it is written in Nigerian constitution that our elections must be turn by turn between the north and the south, I beg anyone who is qualified and ready to give us good governance should be given the mantle. I don't care where he or she is from. The SGF just the play. Sir Victor, I beg, drop this up Panama card, make I can't carry him. Darlington from Mokokomaiko. Kabiru Adegbero says, good afternoon, Victor and Mr. Okwemi. Well done. Good to hear that Ghana just copied from an electoral process and it worked perfectly in their country. In Nigeria, we don't copy good ideas from other countries. God bless my country, Nigeria. John Bernardo says, I'm from Edo State. My governor just embarrassed himself yesterday during that budget presentation. It has proven that he lacks the capacity to rule and will be outsmarted by those who are ready to loot Edo State dry. On a lighter note, his name is pronounced Okpewolo. Forget about the spelling. Okay, that means we tried, we got it here.
Yeah.
Our darling Ogbo says, Okpe is it's confusing me. Edo State people don't enter Gbege. Okay, this is from Sonny J. He says, good afternoon, guys. Monday Okpewolo has never stolen billions. That is why he can't properly read 605 billion in his budget presentation to the states. So only a thief can pronounce billions.
Okay. That's the question I wanted to ask.
That's the question. That's what Honorable Jarrett Tenebe said, the APC chairman. That's what he said. He said, so only a thief can pronounce billions. You can't be normal if APC is your political party. Please. Let us respect people's political affiliation. Electoral reform is the only way out. And thank you, Okpe, for your brilliant analysis. Like, he's analyzing sports. Okay. Thank you. The case in Edo is very different. I don't think eloquence, God bless you guys. Please, where is Aji Fuad? Okay, Victor, these messages are so much, but I think we should also pick more calls.
Okay, now before we go into calls, okay, let me ask. I have seen a lot of science students, and you will hear them speak grammatically. They are nowhere. But when you look at their level of success,
give them the bonus, my friend. Put them in the lab.
You'll be amazed.
They'll concoct.
I'm not trying to say that science students are not brilliant or they are not eloquent, but some of them, you know. So how do you justify that? Because I cannot pronounce a certain figure, that I will not be able to hold sway. I will not be able to deliver on my mandates, do my job to the best of my ability. Let's pick this call. Hello. Are you with us? Okay. All right. So, I appreciate if Nonso can come in back. Nonso, quickly come down so that we can look at this together. Thank you very much. So, okay, I want to hear your opinion as regards that last expression I just made, or statement that I just made right now. Looking at the level of qualification, because somebody asked a question, qualification, and you gave an answer. For the president, all you need is your O level. But if you have your NYS certificate, you know what it means. But with all of this, does it reflect that, yes, you will not be able to deliver, or you need to go to that level of high education or higher education, and then you'll be able to deliver, the way you're supposed to?
Victor, eloquence is good for proper expression of thoughts and ideas, especially if you are operating within the public space, especially if you're a public office holder. Being eloquent is good. Your ability to marshal your points, to reach out to your people, to connect, especially sharing your thoughts is amazing. But what would I rather want to have? Would I rather want to have someone that's got the brilliant speech but does not have the ability to translate those speeches into actions? I don't want that. I'm not, excusing His Excellency Governor Okpewolo. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying we've had some amazing, brilliant, speakers, and then they've gone in there to just make a mess of the privileges that the public had given them. So for me, it's not really about how fluent you are. Like I said, you can be amazing, fluent. You can have the best of everything. You can be fluent and be a good, a public office holder. You can be able to deliver and perform effectively. What would I rather want to have? A well-presented budget, and when you do budget evaluation, you have nothing to show for it, or a budget that was presented and then the governor fumbled and wobbled through it, but at the end of the day, the 605 billion could be accounted for. Roads in Edo State were fixed. Schools in local governments where once it rains, the pupils of that local government cannot go to school. Those schools are fixed. Roofs that are leaking are fixed. The public health center that they pull down and try to build a public library or a motor park rather. I mean, so I would rather want to have a situation where the governor is delivering. You may not necessarily be the biggest when it comes to grammar. The late president Mɪᴅ-ᴡᴇᴇᴜ was governor of Katsina State for 8 years. People barely saw his face on the TV, but he was so transformational in his policies and development that when he was pushed forward, despite the health challenges he had, a lot of people knew that this man was good enough. And we could still see a reflection of the little time he spent as president. So sometimes it is not your ability to speak the biggest of grammar that can determine, like I said at start, don't get me wrong. Okay. Eloquence is good. Your ability to marshal your points is good. Reach out to the people, especially when you are discussing. But the truth is this: the government don't even need to speak to foreign investors. The government cannot speak in public. Are we now trying to say that people that that people that stammers cannot hold political office? They can. So what I'm saying is that don't let us get carried away by all of the things that happened yesterday. If you have any impediment around your speeches, it shouldn't stop you from holding political office. So what I'm saying is that you may not be the best when it comes to speeches, but I would want to have a governor that will give me road, Victor, that will secure my state
on the
and justify the 605 billion than the one that can speak English and cannot justify it.
Hello.
Bro.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
The name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah, it is Tɣᴇ Joshua.
All right, Tɣᴇ Joshua, do it quick.
Yeah, of course, my radio garden is acting funny. I heard it's almost as if you talked about it shows the level of unseriousness, if I may say, because one and over, you go through it over and over before you even come out. Ordinary people, you are stammering like that. It's really a shame, and I want to wish Edo people well.
All right.
I really wish them well.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Hello, good afternoon. Hello. That the whole task of EFCC can be discussed correctly on air or open. That's a lot more sensitive issue attached to the arrests, attached to his arrest. Else the case could have been another route. For now, the case is ongoing. All right, thank you very much, Kayode from Ikotun. That's a message coming from you there. Okay, politics on midweek on Wednesdays. Tᴜɪ̀ᴜ from Igamu. He is, all right? Don't worry, you're going to hear his voice pretty soon. I know so many persons calls. As far as I'm concerned, this is world-class embarrassment, the award-winning disgrace of the year, and worse hypocrisy, not only to Edo people, but to Nigeria at large. We are all in it together. What a shame. This is coming from Jonathan from Magboro. All right, thank you very much, Jonathan from Magboro. And this one here says, let me take it quickly. Good afternoon to you all. If people are unable to pronounce Edo governor's name, they can easily call him Okpe Rashid from Ajegule. All right, I guess that was just on the lighter one there. All right, let's go back to the calls. All right, we can take one or two more calls. Hello, good afternoon.
I've been waiting, sis. I've been waiting. Yes. Immediately you start your program, whatever I'm doing, I abandon them because of you. Emma, for me.
Yeah, please, you have less than 1 minute and 45 seconds. Fine, thank you. Good afternoon.
Good to have you,
okay. My stake is this. The Edo governor, for me, he disappointed me. What is remains for him now is whenever I want to address the public or anything, he should delegate his deputy to do it. But when you talk of the way the man started, the man wants to perform. The way he started, and what he do people need most is for the man to fix a door and let the door enjoy. But whenever you have matter to say, want to talk, want to do something, to work and manage him till that 4 years expire. And finally, we hear Ghana election. Election where, democracy where we are talking about, to a big court, to Supreme Court, if you lose at Supreme Court, please forget that and say you've already lost us. What for the next one? Or somebody will tell me that you are saying 2019 is around the corner.
All right.
2023 around the corner.
Thank you.
2027 around the corner.
Thank you,
Which
Prince
corner
West.
we did?
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Darlington from Okoko. How is Okoko this afternoon?
Oh, it's very fine.
Okay. Let's hear your thoughts in 1 minute.
Good morning. Good evening. It's surprising. It's confusing me. It's confusing. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, naive cause Darlington from Okoko.
All these people, all these are politicians. They don't know what they are doing. I swear, they don't know what they are doing. They don't know what they are doing. They are very, very confused people. Because how will a governor be making a speech without him going through it? He's just making mistake up and down. No. It's very, very bad.
All right.
But if he's working well for the people, no problem. But for him to be making speech while making mistake, no, it's not very good for the country.
Thank you. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, please. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Victor.
Thank you very much. Your name and where you're calling from?
Okoyemi, good afternoon.
My Oga?
Yes. My name is Eda Ugochukwu.
All right, Elder Ugochukwu. Do it in 1 minute.
Calling from Makute.
All right.
Hey,
Do it in 1 minute.
1 minute to get us video.
Oh, yeah,
Try.
It's here. Now, you see this, we don't have problem in this country. It's we that have that problem. It's not this country. Somebody say election conduct in Imo in a state, in Ondo. He said, you see what happened. I want to ask the person, what do you see in Edo? In a state, when the campaign is going on, we all watch on air. When the day of election, that is Saturday, the whole television focus in Edo live. They show it bit by bit. Even when they are bringing the candidates, as they interview them, they say election is going well. No one single gunshot
was heard.
No one single snatching.
All right.
Until after result is coming out.
Thank you.
One dubious man made complaint that I don't know what is the problem with Nigeria.
All right. Thank you very much.
Can this country breathe?
Thank you very much, Elder Ugochukwu. Appreciate you. And please stay safe and celebrate Christmas with family. Everyone. Okpeyemi, it's been a great show. It's been a wonderful conversation. Always doing this with you has been, mind-blowing. But before we take our leave, your last thoughts for now.
Well, whether we like it or not, we have to fix this country some way, somehow. And then one of the things that beats my imagination the most is when you see in quotes other smaller countries trying to fix some of the challenges that we sit back and complain and lament and rant and para the street language about. I think we all need to know that the responsibility for our relatives, they are church members, we worship in the same mosque. We promise this. You've not done the voting election here. It is not just about INEC. The electoral laws must be thoroughly reviewed and checked. Be ready there to disenfranchise the people. If I work in Ikeja and I register in Ikeja and I stay in Ijoko, I should be able to vote for Ijoko. Since the numbers are not being hawked, they are going to the same central server. These are issues that boys can sit down and develop apps that can help us. Why can't we deploy these things to have a proper election, Victor?
One thing that Nigerians are asking and looking for, yes, like I said, we're going to be looking at men now granting their wives permission to carry out family planning. And the second conversation for tomorrow is all about education. Education is scam. And by the way, it's not related to the governor of Edo State, so don't put that in mind, all right?
I didn't see that.
It's going to be tomorrow, people. My name is Victor Achibong. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Amazing time.
It's been a wonderful time, yes. So join BB and Jaydan. Yes, the boss will be coming up. And don't forget, Sage Babalola will be in the Situation Room from 4 p.m. all the way down to 5:30. Mainland 98.3 FM. People, we are the sound of Lagos.